An excerpt from Pieces of Eight, my novel. The exobot is quite a bit stronger than your usual human body, John, the general said. You will find that your senses may also be increased at will, should you decide it worthwhile to do so, including touch and smell, hearing and sight. What about taste, General? How quickly you've discovered one of the weak spots of the exobot. I hate to tell you this, but there won't be any cheeseburgers or coffee with milk and sugar for you while in physically suspended animation. Carla, we have a dumb exobot for you that will provide the same features as John's standard XP without the brain cooling. If you want to use one of those, it would let you transit the void just as well, in addition to other environments adverse to human physiology that may present to you down the road. Yes, General. Thanks. That might be useful. I had a question for the General to ask after Carla replied and waited for the appearance of a semi-XP. General, may I ask a question of you? There is quite a bit about the universe that I don't understand. Of course, John, reanimation doesn't provide complete data learned from your former existence. The expansion or hyperinflation of the universe, sir, how did that happen? I'm not a physical cosmologist, John, yet I'll tell you what I know of the subject as I understand it. I'll also send knowledge units to your XP in order that you may learn at high speed. The inflaton occurred in a virgin region of the universe. Gravity had not yet formed to slow down energy and convert it into mass. Energy was recognized by Einstein equal mass times the speed of light squared. Yet that was a nominal constraint, for a formula was necessarily required to define energy within the context of a non-virgin space-time paradigm of a deterministic nature. What energy is before it is bound to space-time as mass is difficult to say. It may have no form at all that is comparable to any quantum form such as a string or membrane. Its natural extent may be greater than the dimensions of the universe defined with space-time. What is gravity? Gravity is a process wherein mass is embedded within space-time. Apparently energy at the inflaton for an instant had no tie to space-time before gravity associated the newly appeared energy to it, starting the curvature of space-time and formation of mass. Gravity is a concatenated phenomenon of virtual particle superposition of mass quanta entangling itself in static states. That warps space, in effect, as static mass snares emergent field phenomena such as photons traveling through. With quantum computing instructions, the entangled static mass of virtual particles can be decohered, releasing energy and mass, explosively transforming black holes into white. Incidentally, John, there are about 350 billion planets in the Silky Way, and of those, somewhere around 10 billion have been brought into use by humanity free of the Aristarchs. There is a halo of energy surrounding the galaxy, 4 major spiral arms of stars and mass swirling around and being drawn to a great black hole as the center of the galaxy named Sagittarius A after its apparent location. From the ancient Earth, it was located about 26,000 light-years from galactic center. I understand the galaxy is about 100,000 light-years in diameter? Yes, so it is. And something else you might benefit from understanding is the nature of mass in regard to space-time in the Pieces of Eight former universes. Mass is embedded in space-time dimensions and therein locked in a particular direction consistent with the dimensions of the universe. Black holes have an infinite capacity for compacting and compounding reduction of mass within themselves because the dimensions are themselves infinite within a black hole. So though mass is bound to space-time, creating curvature, and all mass is duplicating that, creating concatenated curvature and power of space-time curvature, the actual gravitational force doesn't increase and remains a constant? Correct. And you may know that gravity is also limited to acting at the speed of light. For something greater than energy existed, something more subtle and less granular, at once more refined and without waves or variegations. Before energy could slow to mass, in lower, more steady-state orbits closer to the temperature of absolute zero, it must first be and become. When the universe was without form and void, it was without energy, without a shape of a string or a singularity before a membrane began to exist. Nothing rippled upon the face of the deep. When a word was spoken and light entered the universe, something greater than energy, an idea at best comparable to spirit, entered. To travel faster than light, for light was itself a nearly massless wave particle that would appear within a field, and the pre-energetic fact was faster. than those fields, including electromagnetic and gravitational, that would exist as the ethereal primal fact of a specific and finite quantity slowed after entering space-time, with field symmetry breaking logic and evolutions of phases, taking directions and protocols in the mysterious volume of infinite dimensions known as space. Time implicitly appeared within the energy and mass of space, providing a relativistic space-time field. The field was relative yet finite. Mass drew other mass unto itself through the convenience of attaching itself to space-time as an apparent phenomenon of virtual particle entangling at the speed of light, a host of nearly massless subatomic orbital quanta. Reshaping space-time behavior in world lines of mass subatomic quanta with implicit inanimate logic, the superposition of entangled particles balanced accounts, even while all mass drawn unto itself closed space-time about itself as black holes. Under tremendous pressure within strong gravitational fields of warping space-time, all mass yielded energy that became virtually infinitely hot and simultaneously infinitely energetic, and compacted without limit in what might somewhat realistically be thought of as the singular point of hell at the end of any black hole of sufficient size that would, in its heart of darkness, collect with all other black holes grown from the finite initial mass given for the universe into a black hole enshrouded in its own warp, space-time, seeking to escape its own infinite hell. It was a perfect containment facility for those lost and without regard for their immortal souls that are another name for spirit. The spirit, known unto God and given a new name upon recollection and resurrection, after the judgment of the dead. In the black hole, time has stopped at the singularity, yet time also continues apparently. Subjectively forever within the contradictory, infinitely high temperature existing below absolute zero, when motion is stopped and all mass was converted into something beyond energy and time, yet far less and of a different character than the greater than energy that appeared before the first light of the universe, so many billions of years before, from a certain perspective. In the meanwhile, before the evident ends of time and sundry black holes that would combine into one if given the time and opportunity, the trillions of galaxies that existed and might be regarded as stages in the course of life's way were beset by another problem that was already making itself known unto the humans living at the edge of the Silky Way galaxy, where they had believed themselves safely beyond the reach of Aristarchus and sundry other urban evils of the interior universe. The problem arose with what were later called the species of 8.